Hello Fly Nation and welcome to the Freestyle Your Life podcast, the one and only podcast inspiring you to live your authentic greatness while teaching you that less is more. I'm your host, Anesta Zimmermann, and I'm on my mission to help you to be the hero you were meant to be and to live what you came for in life and in business. Remember, the quest we came here for is to discover our true nature, explore our potential and share it by living. This is Kyera Yalte, is it right?
Yes, that is correct. Thank you.
Yes, on the Fly podcast tonight. It's 7:30 here in Germany PM, and we will be exploring what Kyera does, and I'm very excited because she is a grandmaster in Reiki. She's doing access bars, so you need to tell us more about that. I do it myself, and I like it, but maybe our listeners don't know what we are talking about, so you will explain it to us. This is a real good method to do healing on ourselves. That's why I love it so much. And we both are fans of discovering life in a sort of a new way, and to see possibilities instead of just problems, and to ease joy. And what I discovered and why we are here and why this is called the Freestyle Your Life is that we sabotage ourselves with plenty of things. That's better because, yeah, I couldn't see you in the dark there. That's better with the light now. She just turned on her light. So, well, we took on so much in life, and a lot of that doesn't suit us and doesn't help us and doesn't lead us any further. And yeah, I'm a fan of letting go and really freestyle myself from things that are obviously not good for me. As I turned into illness, that's how I react, how my body reacts if I don't listen to my soul. So it's sort of like the soul tells my body, now I tried, but she doesn't listen. Now it's your turn. That's the feeling I get there. So I will be I'm excited to hear how you feel it, and that's what we are talking about. So happy to have you on the Fly podcast. Welcome again, and this is your stage.
Thank you for having me here, and I am delighted to share some of my stories and knowledge I have on healing modalities. And indeed, the bars are an excellent modality. That is my favorite one because so many people ask for it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and I also do it by distance. And that is amazing.
Maybe you could give us an impression or example. Take me, so the listeners can, because it's not that common, so not many people know it, right?
No.
So that would be my favorite topic, if you would share how it works and how all this goes.
Yes, now the bars is a process which is channeled by a Russian monk, and I can't remember the name exactly anymore, but it's channeled to Gary Douglas, who is the founder of Access Consciousness.
Yes.
And shall I tell you a story how I got into the bars, which is really kind of interesting, because I was living on an island in the Pacific Ocean at the time.
Yeah.
Where I had gone to write a book, which I did, and then I got involved with I had a relationship with a local person there, and that went he betrayed me on all levels you can imagine.
Okay. Please tell us, where have you been? Because I know you have been on the water, you have been sailing for quite a while in different countries there, and being on the seaside. And I'm a total fan of water, so I did sail with my dad nearly all over.
Yes.
So I am totally related to that, but share for our listeners, because I know a lot of you because I prepare for the interview, but of course the listeners don't.
Yeah.
So you need to tell something about what you did.
Now, in the late 90s, when I also became a Reiki grandmaster, I ran a guest house. And
Yes.
I'm not someone who likes to go out for work, and I didn't have to, but I like to do something. And after I did it 7 or 8 years, I decided, and we moved to a beautiful place, and I started a Reiki practice there from the house, which went really well. And I did it in a hotel where they had a gym, so I treated people there. But I decided I wanted to go on a trip.
Yes.
Not as a mother, not
But
as a
tell
wife.
us, Kyera, please tell us, where was the guest house? Where was it
That
located?
was in the UK, in Kent.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so then I decided I wanted to go on a trip again, because I like traveling. I like movement in my
Yeah,
life.
me too. I love to travel.
And I mean, being not stuck, but being committed to a guest house for 8 years, that was like a
Yes.
long period.
Yes.
So I decided to go to Nepal. Why? I wasn't sure. I wanted to go to Tibet, but that was so much hassle with visa, so I decided to go to Nepal. And I had such a wonderful time there. It was absolutely, I felt I came home there.
Yes.
Yeah, I felt I came home. I
And
loved the people there.
it's so amazing. And as a woman, you can, is it dangerous to travel
No,
there?
not at all. The people are lovely. They're very honorable, and I went trekking, did the Annapurna trek. No, I had the most wonderful time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back, and then my marriage didn't fulfill me, and so
Mm-hmm.
after a year longer, I decided to leave, and that's when I started on my sailing journey.
Yes.
And just, where did I go? Oh, first I went to the Mediterranean, and I didn't like the Mediterranean that much because it's kind of limited. So I flew over with a partner I had then, over to Maryland in the States, where I bought
Mm-hmm.
a different boat, a beautiful boat, which was called the Aberquate, which is from the indigenous American Indians there. And that means a cradle on the water. So my heart felt that was my boat. And from there we sailed to Bermuda and then to the Caribbean. And after many years of cruising, I got a bit sick of cruising because it's really hard work. It's not a paradise, really.
Yeah. I know. I
Yeah,
know. Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of work. And so then I decided I want to go chefing on catamaran boats.
Mm-hmm.
You get like 6 to 8 Americans mainly, and you entertain them for 7 days on the water, and you take them to all islands. And I love
Yes.
that. I love people, so I was totally in my element. And then later we did that in the Caribbean, and later we moved on to Belize, and we did it
Mm-hmm.
there for 2 years, I think, nearly. But I did it for 2 years, but my partner, he was fed up with it. So he left. So I went with a local skipper and did it. And I just absolutely am in my element because I
Mm-hmm.
love cooking. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was pulled over the anchor roller. So I couldn't work for a couple of months. And then I decided to go back to St. Martin and became.
I love St. Martin.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
nearly moved down there.
Did you? Yeah.
10, yeah, 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I spent many months there. it was a really
On,
fun
on the French side or on the Dutch side?
Both. In the daytime, we would go to the French side, have lunches and all that. And then in the evenings, we would go to the Dutch side, shooting pool and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's such a shame it got so damaged by the hurricane.
Yeah.
I was when the hurricane hit Barbados and Tortola and all the islands and Barbuda. I love Barbuda so much, and it's nearly it was flat. And Saint Martin. Well, I for so many years, every year I've been in Saint Martin because I have friends down there, and my heart was nearly turned away when I saw that. And I was with friends on Barbados, and we did experience storm, but not, of course, like the islands there. But the water was coming everywhere, even in the house. We have not been on the ship by that time. It was terrible, and all the forces flying with special machines to give help. There was a inner Caribbean help with doctors and with planes, and everybody gave what he had for the islands that suffered so much. It was terrible there. Okay, I did interrupt you.
No, that's okay. What year was that?
This was, I haven't been there last year, 2 years. This was, I think it was Irma, Hurricane Irma.
Yeah, no, I was
September. This September, it's 2 years, yes.
Okay, and I was in Grenada when we were in St. Lucia because Ivan was going to miss St. Lucia, and then it turned. But we sailed, it was heading for St. Lucia, so we decided to go to Grenada, and while we were on the water, it had turned and it came to Grenada. So we just were there a day. We didn't even have time to stock up on anything. And so we had a massive hurricane there, and we were lucky enough to be able to stay because our boat just landed on a soft beach. So it wasn't really damaged. And we were allowed to stay in the house above our boat, which belonged to a veterinarian who had gone to another island. And we stayed there in the house for 3 months before anything could be shifted. But it was a special time. It was very scary because we went to shore and we stayed in like a guest house, and then it was all concrete, but then the ceiling came down. So we were in the bathroom, and then in the eye of the storm, we went to the reception area. And yeah, it wasn't really, but I'm never scared. I don't get scared. I don't know how that happens, but I never feel scared. But that was indeed, and for the locals as well. And it was so sad.
Yeah, it was really terrible. And as we have lots of US citizens here, it was widely announced, right? It doesn't came out of the sudden. The news were bringing it on and on and on. And it started in the Miami area. So over there, people prepared and took gas and really food for long period to be prepared, and everybody wanted to get rid of the Miami area there, and it was a mess, right? Just of being afraid of the hurricane coming because it was announced, and it came, of course.
I don't know how I do that because. My first trip from the UK on the way to Spain, we got caught in a Bay of Biscay. We had 3 storms in 2 days, and it was horrendous. The storm, it was so big. I mean, when we were in the trough of the wave, then the next wave was like as high as our mast. So it was really like a great initiation into the sailing trip. But yeah, we all are well and nothing really. We had a little bit of damage, but not too bad.
But the luck with you.
Yes, I think so. Where was I with my story? I can't remember.
You've just been in Grenada. You wanted to go Grenada because Saint Lucia was about to caught by the hurricane, and then it turned over there. That's sometimes it happens like that. It's announced, right? And they do all the forecast and everything, but it's still nature, and the hurricane turns, and you're just going the wrong way. Sometimes we need luck also, right? It's not that we can know everything in advance.
No. Yeah, so my sailing life was really beautiful, and I have a lot of happy memories, and you become like a family on the water. You know, you meet up with people, you know, because no one has family around them. So you meet up with friends again in another harbor. It was really a lovely time. It was a really good time. But then, as I became chef on the big yachts from Americans, and I did that for maybe a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2008, it all started, chartering started going down because of the financial situation.
Yes.
And then I decided I visited my daughter, and I think so, because 2 of my children live in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And
how did they come there?
My daughter was working at a school here in England. She was I said, Mom, I haven't even got enough money to repair my car, really. I said, come to the Caribbean and work on a yacht for a few years. You earn really good money.
Yes.
And it's really fun. So she did that. And then the captain on one of her boats she was working on, they fell in love, and they're happily, and he came from Australia. So
that's why the love was it again.
Yes. And then my oldest son, he came maybe 3-4 years. He decided to go there, and he met a boss there he worked in the UK for, and he's now working there, and he's married there as well, and he's very happy there. He loves it, and the weather is so beautiful.
Yes.
And my youngest son, he's just came back from Australia. He'd been there for 2 years. And he's now just moved here in Bristol.
Okay. I've been to Bristol, yes.
Yeah. And I like to have adventurous kids. But the funny thing is, my parents were going to go and emigrate to Australia. They had all the visas all ready. My father was a farmer, and he already knew what farm he wanted to buy. And then he told his mother that they were going to emigrate to Australia. And she said, if you do that, you'll be the cause of my death. And he didn't go. But now my children are there, which is absolutely like, it's like meant to be.
Yes. My son took off also. He's in Vancouver. He's already 1 year. And he was supposed to come back after 1 year, so work and travel, right? But no, he just said, Mom, I love Canada so much, and it's so nice. And he's in Whistler, which is the skiing area there. He's a really skiing crack. And he's working there, and he's just enjoying himself. And he doesn't want to go. He wants to stay.
Now, my youngest son is contemplating to go to Canada. He's drawn to Canada as well. So that'd be really great, another country to visit.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
No, not yet. And I didn't go. When we met in Tampa, I thought of maybe going there, but I was too much in the pressure because of the launch of the podcast, and I didn't have no time. And I thought he was coming back, but now I know he's not coming back. And sooner or later at the end of the year or beginning next year, at the latest, I will go there too.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but I totally agree with you. The feeling on a sailing boat and meeting the people there, because everybody's is free, and most of the boat people are there just relaxed and chilled, right? So
yeah, yeah,
I always loved that. So the last time I was sailing was actually to Nassau on the Bahamas.
okay, yeah,
And I was there sailing 2 weeks with my dad as being skipper. I never made the licenses because I always was with him. And my sons actually did the license, the sailing license there. And we were cruising all around the Bahama Keys. It's so lovely. It's unbelievable. It's without words.
yeah. Now I am a day skipper. I don't think they trust me at night.
Mm-hmm.
So and I did a lot and the radio, how to use that. I did lots of that kind of stuff because I thought if you're together on a boat and something happens to the captain, I have to need to know what to do.
Yes.
That's why I did it, not out of a passion of wanting to know, but I
Right.
felt it'd be a bit silly not to know how to steer the boat and all that kind of stuff and moor it. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. That's definitely a good idea.
yeah,
So now let's go back to excess bars career.
yeah.
So we
No,
talked a little bit here
yeah.
of our voyages, and so please explain what it is and how you use it as a method.
Now I shall explain how I got there. That is very quick. It's like I was living in Fiji, but up on an island in the Pacific Ocean, and this relationship was totally wrong. And one day I sat at the desk because he is a lawyer, and I knew everything was wrong. And I said out loud to the universe, really with so much emotion and feeling in my heart, I choose for happiness now. And I knew instinctively that I had to choose and take action on it.
Yes.
I went for a week away to Australia to see my daughter, and I came back and I knew, you feel the energy in a place when everything
Yeah.
isn't right. And then we had a farm there, or I had a farm there. It's now his, I think. And he would go to the farm every weekend, and I couldn't go because I had all boils on the back of my legs. And you had to wade through a river. No, that just is from what I learned later. It is from anger, which is not expressed.
Yes.
I was so angry, and it started with one, and they were all on my legs. So I didn't want to go to the farm, which was very.
Yeah. So, but your body told you.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
showed you this. There's something absolutely not okay, right?
Yeah, and
You had the feeling you should separate, but you didn't want to leave the farm, right?
no, it's just a multitude of reasons why not. I think, and one of them is not seeing the reality as it was maybe in the beginning. And then and also I was so skinny. I ate biscuits and chocolates and any rubbish to just put weight on, but nothing put weight on. I was like, I once saw a picture of myself and it looked like a skeleton, really. It was so bad.
Okay.
But anyway, so then I opened his computer because my computer was not working, and on there was a file to the police, and it said his name and then another woman's name, and from the farm, which was actually mine, and I had to. And it was in the weekend, and I had to speak to someone. I didn't want to call my children because I didn't feel like it, and my friends in Europe, I didn't want to bother. And in that week, I had been at my daughter's after the choosing the happiness. I had picked up a little book, or I had picked up some books in a second-hand shop, healing books and whatever, because there isn't much choice in Fiji.
Mm-hmm.
I stood at a till and I turned around, and there was a little book where I had been looking, and it stood there looking at me. It's Curing the Incurable. I thought, oh, I'll pick that up. Perfect for me, Curing the Incurable. And that was a book which was written by Liam Phillips, who does the bars. So I Googled and why I called him. I called him because I needed to speak to someone. He had lived in the same road as my daughter. I thought, that's enough connection. I'll give him a call.
Yes.
And we had a lovely chat, and he said, oh, do you want me to come to Fiji for the bars? I said, no, I'm leaving here, and I will have, when I didn't have any money to come, really. And then he gave me, because someone had left me a boat, and he gave me, and there was a buyer, but he never would buy. It was there for 6 months. And then he gave me a process from Access Consciousness. What will it take for the boat to sell with total ease, and everything that doesn't allow this to happen with total ease, I destroy and uncreate. Right or wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 short boys and beyonds. And he said, say it 20 times a day, hang it up everywhere. And I did that, and I started that on the Sunday, and then the next Thursday, I said to my partner, I said, I will have an email next Monday that the boat is sold. That came on Tuesday because the boat was in Panama. And then I could leave, which I did. And I booked the bars with Liam. He did the class. He came to Cairns for me to do the class. He has more people there. And that's how I got into it. And within a month, my weight was put on again. It was absolutely amazing. It was really good. And the bars is a process where you touch, there are like 32 points on your head. It's for money, gratitude, joy, sadness, healing, communication, aging. You have for the body and one for sexuality, and then you have many, many points. And you touch them lightly, but the first bar which I use, the first bars I use the most for the person when they come for the first time is the implant band, because the implant band has all the limiting belief systems we have from this life and from past lives, and everything we've taken on from the teachers, from our parents and all that. And sometimes that's the only bar point I use. And then you always close it off with a process with doing 3 different bar points. And it's amazing the results people get from it.
Could we do an example?
It's a bit, no, it's a bit of because then I go silent. I never speak when I do it. So it might be a little bit complicated. I can... Yeah, because I don't talk when I do the bars.
Yeah.
Do you talk when you do the bars?
I'm not doing them on people. I'm doing it for myself. I'm practicing it as one method.
Okay, yeah.
But I do a lot of tapping.
Oh, you do tapping, yeah. Yeah, I don't... tapping, I'm not drawn to tapping. I know it works for some people, but I never felt like drawn to that. But the bars is absolutely like, magical in many ways. So that's how I came to the bar.
But the people then, your clients, they have to come to see you at your place, or how do you cannot work with them over the internet?
No, I just do it what I do is I arrange a time with them when they just go, I said, what time are you going to sleep tonight? And then we agree on 10 o'clock, say, for instance, and then I wait half an hour, because otherwise they lay there waiting, for it to start. So they will just go to sleep, and I do it when they're asleep. And then I just do it by distance. It's really, it's as powerful as hands-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I did it on my ex-husband. He was in total overwhelm. He'd left his business, and he was totally frustrated, and left a good client he had and everything. And he was totally in overwhelm. And he said, "Can you do the bars on me?" And I did it. And the next morning, he went to the bathroom and he looked in his own eyes in a mirror, and he couldn't stop laughing about the stupidity that he was so overwhelmed by it all. And it makes people feel so much lighter. It makes people see the futility and of all these heavy emotions we take on.
Yes.
And it was absolutely, and I did the same on the person I was with in Fiji, because he sometimes asks for the bars.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do. And then, yeah, he had the same. He also, that was really interesting. He also looked in his own eyes in a mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and had the same kind of feeling. So that was really, but it's really easy to do, and I love doing it, because I know people have such benefits from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also did the access consciousness, the body processes, so I do that as well.
Yes.
And then I also do the BelVasPata healing, which is healing of the heart, which I studied for 6 years with Almeen Barton from Spiritual Journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And she's an amazing mystic and visionary, and she brings forth so much information.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that basically stopped me doing something. You know, you have always these webinars and all these courses, and a couple of years ago I thought I'd just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise you never do anything but learn more and more, learn more.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm such a knowledge junkie, and I have such a wide variety of topics that are interesting for me. And but you end up be the learner all day, right? And and time goes by, and you did forget to implement. Implementation is key. All knowledge is nothing when not implemented.
No. And as I love the healing, but I also last August I suddenly had this feeling come over me that I also like to be a teacher, from whatever spiritual teacher.
Yeah.
And because I love speaking, and 2 years before that I had gone to Melbourne to do a public speaking course. I don't know why I wanted to do a public speaking course, but obviously my soul knew before I knew that I ended up doing that, of wanting to be a speaker. And I also I'm a happiness coach. I coach people in how to create happiness, an inner happiness.
Yes.
Because most people look on the outside for happiness.
Yeah.
But I have had a very varied life, and I'm very grateful for that, to follow my joy in life.
Yeah, that's wonderful. But what I learned in my life lessons, and that have been so many, oh my gosh, is that happiness and fulfillment comes from the inside out, right?
Yeah.
So if we don't come to a place of self-love, of really being the best parents we maybe never had, and being our best friend, and for the inner child still crying because of whatever happened, and it's our turn to heal ourselves, right? And there's so many methods we could take on, and I still believe there is not everything is a fit for all, right? So
Yeah.
tapping might be perfect for me, but it's not congruent and not synergetic with you.
No, that's
right?
true.
But still,
Yeah.
the method may be good, but it's not no fit for all, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we have to just try on. I've tried so many methods on myself. Everything I tried on myself first, and that yeah, what didn't work, of course, I'm not even talking about, right? And what did work on me doesn't mean it works on
Yeah.
you,
No.
right? Because we all have a different energetic signature, and this all is a huge system, and that's why not everything is for us, right? So we have to try and see, and if one method is not the right one as it
Yeah.
shows, then it's totally okay. Then we have others to try, right?
Yeah.
There is no need or must, I must do this. No.
Yeah.
The key is to free yourself and to yeah, come back to balance, but not to push.
No. But the thing with the bars is because as explained is like during the class as well, the bars class, it's like you have humans and you have humanoids. And when the humans are compared to the cows, they know they get milk twice a day, they go to the field, they eat the grass, and then they go back to the stable to be milked, and they know the routine. They can't vary
Yeah,
from their
yeah,
own.
yeah.
The humanoids, they are compared to the horses. They love jumping around and exploring new
Yeah.
meadows and
Yes.
and the bars is more effective often on humanoids, people who are in that way, who are not stuck in one place and they can't see
Yeah.
how to move out of the secure thing. And the horses, they don't care, they are happy and they jump over the fences. And for the cows,
Yeah.
they could jump over the fence too, but they don't have
No.
the ability to think like that.
Yes. Yes.
So
Totally.
and I have noticed that as well with people. If they are human, they don't really get it. They have a little bit of it, but they don't have the enormous benefits as a humanoid,
Mm-hmm.
which is very interesting as well. So and having an inner happiness, which I started cultivating because I obviously there is not a manual how to create inner happiness. So what I did intuitively every morning before I was really awake, I said to myself, today is going to be the happiest day of my life. And then you bring these energies in your day by making a statement like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it took a while, I think, but I'm always happy now. I'm joyful, and things still happen, but I deal with them in very light-hearted way, and it doesn't affect my inner joy and happiness,
Yes.
which is really amazing.
Yeah.
But
And we can, Kyera, we can do so much by changing ourselves and changing the environment if we realize what we are in or what we are living in, or in the partnership, like you knew you have to break free there, break out there. Yeah, if it's not the right thing, rather than self-sabotaging and killing us by going on, which would be really stupid to do that. We need to take the leap of my dog is walking there.
What a big dog.
Yeah, he's a big one. the big one. She's always there and listening. She doesn't understand no English, but she
Yeah,
she's with me all the time. And now she thinks, "Oh, it's getting dark. It's night, and we are still in the office." So, yeah, but she always loves to be around. And yeah, so this is it's our turn to change, right? Like
yeah,
you realized, well, it's not the right place anymore, and you took off to sail and love to travel, like me, right? I rearranged my whole business to have most of it in the laptop, so I can travel and be free and work wherever I'm going. This is freedom for
yeah,
my consideration. Might be completely different for somebody else, but we have to discover what it is for us, right? And what I love to motivate and inspire my community here is to take the leap of faith and really go for what they want and discover what it is and then go for it,
yeah,
right? Because time passes so quick, and time is the greatest asset of all,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
just let it go by, right? So I have so many people I'm observing from the distance, and they are like, oh, hopefully it will be this evening, and it will be weekend soon, and it will be holidays, and it will be retirement. Yes, they living from break to break, right? But
yeah,
but yeah, but the time goes by so quick. So um, maybe you don't have to work anymore if you're retired, if you're waiting for that. But then the unlucky thing is you're old,
yeah.
right?
And also, I believe if you follow your purpose of your soul, then it's not work.
Yeah.
It's not work. It's a joy to do it.
Yes.
And every day,
That's what I just had the talk about it this afternoon, because I
yeah,
said, well, I'm outsourcing and doing everything that I don't like taxes and the technical stuff. I'm not paid for that, and I have my assistant. I gave my taxes to the accountant, and I could be interviewing, chatting, and talking with the people all day long, right?
yeah,
This is for me is totally is it's just nice. But
yeah,
if I have to make taxes for the first quarter, as I had to do this morning, it sucks. For me, it
yeah.
sucks, right? And so I'm outsourcing everything that is not making me happy and bringing me joy.
No, no, I did the same with the guest house because I thought I'll go to a business course before because the house wasn't finished yet. I thought I'll take a business course, how to manage my business. And then I went once, and then my father passed away, so I missed 2 weeks. And then I came back, and the course hadn't continued because there weren't enough people on the course. So I called the guy who ran the course, and he became my accountant. And all I did was put all my receipts in a plastic bag and hand them over, and that's all I did. I'm not into that. I don't enjoy that, so I never did anything like that.
Yeah, but we still, so many of us, Kiera, and myself included, for a really long time. We think we have to, and what other people think, and all these things, and we put ourselves into a struggle and problems, and yeah, I really have resistance to do the tax stuff there with the numbers.
Yeah,
It's just
Oh
There's
no.
nothing I can feel. It's yeah. For me, it just sucks. But there are people that love to do that. They are great at it, right?
Oh,
And they should do it.
yeah.
It's not my work, so I
Oh,
don't have to even to touch it. Right?
if I
That's
have
my
three
opinion.
pieces of paper, I
Yeah.
get them in a model. I'm just not engineered
Oh,
that way.
when I see all the paper all on two desks, boy, it's terrible. But I'm nearly done with it today
But
anyway.
what also was very interesting, when I had just clearly made the decision that I was going to leave, and I knew I was leaving, suddenly, because the person I was with was quite tall, but I became taller than him. And I asked Liam about it. He said, because humanoids, they cut every bit of themselves off energetically. They cut the arm off to fit better in this, and they cut the legs off so they fit better in a relationship, and they do everything to fit in.
Yes.
And it was like, because I said before I left, I said, I'm taller than you. Yeah, he said, you are. And that became because I had claimed myself again. I had put all my pieces back together again.
Yeah.
And that was so interesting to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bars is phenomenal. And the BelVasPata, that is angel healing, and that goes with light and frequency. It's a non-touch healing modality. And you
Yeah.
work with sigils. A sigil is like we could say, like a heart has got many, many different meanings, doesn't it? If you think of a heart drawn. But a sigil only has one purpose. One is for the connection to the angel, and then you have another sigil, which is the healing quality you call upon. So you call upon the angel with a healing quality, and then you also, so that's also a very special, and that's by Elmine Barton. And that's also a very special, but people aren't ready for it yet.
Yeah, I know. But Kyera, do you have it on your website? So as I will mention everything I could remember or write down here, and so people could look it up, right?
Yeah, and on there is also a blog post about the bars, and with a little video with what it what it does in the body.
Yes.
And because people have had also physical problems really healed with the bars.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really it's amazing how it works.
Yeah, I will mention that in the show notes because we are really on the at the end now, so the people can look it up.
Yeah.
And can find you in case they have problems or want to work together or whatever.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, and it was delightful to speak with you.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was lovely.
Yes, it was indeed.
Yeah.
And this must be your last interview for the day.
Yeah, because I'm realizing my eyes get really tired now, but it's 8:15 in the evening, so I will give myself relaxation now. Because after 3 interviews, I'm still German, so I have to pay clear attention, and yeah, I want to highlight my speakers, of course, but I want to also have my listeners out there inspiration. So yeah, I'm sort of moderating this here, but some speakers they don't go on speaking right fluently, and others they speak and speak and speak and without point, and this is this is not good for the listeners. They after a while it gets boring. And if somebody's on the line it's like radio here, right? On the podcast, and there is nobody speaking, then this is not bad for them, right? There is nothing.
Yeah. No,
if you see each other like we do now, but I'm not taking this for the podcast, I'm taking this for the online summit. So on the online summit, you can listen and people see exactly we are sitting there side by side, right?
Okay, yeah.
But on the podcast, people don't
Yeah.
see the pictures.
No.
They just hear. And
Yeah.
if there is too long, nobody talking, right?
Yeah.
Then it's boring for them.
Yeah. Now, luckily, we didn't have that problem.
Yeah, so then I have to interfere, but on the other side, I don't want to interrupt your thought. And yeah, that's sort of tricky
Balancing it out.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, thank you very much.
but 3 interviews at one day is really enough. So I did my best today, and I'm done for today.
Okay, but thank you very much again for the invite. And
yeah, that was great, and I will mention everything, and we keep in contact.
Okay, thank you.
Right? All the best to you, Kyera. Big hug.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening in. I hope you got new inspiration to seek help and surrender to love no matter what situation you're in. Hopefully you could take away that transformation is possible. By getting the right support, you can embrace life joyfully and enjoy your life on your own authentic terms. Please rate and review the Freestyle Your Life podcast on freestyle-your-life.com/podcast if you like today's talk, and make sure you qualify for the amazing I Love to Fly podcast giveaway by subscribing and referring 3 friends to the Freestyle Your Life podcast. All experts and myself are happy to assist and support you. Just reach out to us. Thanks for joining us today, and don't forget to tune in next Thursday and listen in to your next inspiration on how to freestyle your life. You will learn another priceless shortcut on how to break free and restyle your life on your own authentic terms. Becoming authentically you will ease your life and business. Remember, Fly Nation, break free and fly. Looking forward to talk to you next Thursday. Bye.